Do we celebrate the birthday of the Prophet?
If you guys don't love the Prophet, you cannot attempt to show love like this happens.
لو كان خيرا لسبقونا إليه.
His Prophet said, just go and celebrate my birthday. If you can ask why 5 times, you always get to the root of everything.
There's no consensus on the day when the Prophet was born.
If it's the love of Prophet, this guarantees you more certainty. You're doing something that is uncertain over something that is certain. This guy is part of the people that always celebrate the Prophet every day by doing Salawat on him.
Do we celebrate the birthday of the Prophet Sallallahu
Alaihi Wasallam? No.
Why had no? Don't you think that is going to take you out of the religion saying no like that? But you love the prophets?
I do love the Prophet Sallallahu more than any living being. My father, my wife, my child, who again, my mother, anyone thinkable. The Prophet ﷺ is here, and then every other person comes next, secondary.
Why don't you celebrate his birthday? I mean, we are in the month of that celebration. It's going on worldwide.
Because as Muslims, we have our focal points, and where we derive reference from in terms of actions that are meant to be religious. We have, as we say always, we have our Salaf Salihin that were with the Prophet ﷺ. And so the natural question comes, who amongst them celebrated the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ? Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali? The Khulafa al-Rashidun, none of them, which the Prophet ﷺ said we should in hadith, alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnati al-Khulafa al-Rashidin al-Mahdiyyin. Right? If if they did, we could say, okay, this is just some form of legislation. Of course, there has to be consensus among Sahabas, but they did not. So okay, maybe they did, but it was not on a grand scale. So maybe the people that came after them saw it and then they took on it. But we don't have any reported text that said that the Prophet ﷺ, or not even the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahabas celebrated the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ. The Tabi'in did not. That Tabi'in did not. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, خير القرون قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. So those are the 3 what do you call virtuous generations?
Yeah.
Because it's closer to the Prophet ﷺ. None of this group of people, so over 300 years or 3 generations, no one celebrated the birthday of Prophet ﷺ. And so the question is, how did we arrive at this?
Okay. That's a beautiful input. But one would say that it's just showing love. It's just showing, on the 12th of that month, that we are coming out to show love for the Prophet ﷺ. And today he's born. And I think we even have a hadith reported by Bukhari, where the Prophet said, I fast on Mondays because I was born on Monday, to show gratitude to Allah. So if you look at all this, it almost looks like there's an opening and a green light to show love, because you're just showing love. There's no harm in that.
So 2 things. Why not show love with what the Prophet ﷺ did? Fast. And not even saying he fast on the day that he was born, but he fasts on Monday, and it's a Sunnah. So fast on Monday so that you have a mutaba'ah with the Prophet ﷺ. Secondly, the Prophet ﷺ said in hadith, لا تتركوني, or something of that sort. كما أطرت النساء ابن مريم. So not overly, because we do not love anyone like the Prophet ﷺ. As a human being, we do not love anyone that like the Prophet ﷺ. But we know that, but the Prophet ﷺ, who said in hadith that if you don't love him more than anyone you know, then your iman is not complete, right? But that same man said, do not overly praise me. And this is what happens in the birthday of Prophet across anywhere, you know. This is and more so the Prophet did not tell us to. And so we follow what the Prophet said, or what the Prophet did, or what the Prophet allowed to happen. And none of this was the case. Rather, he said, do not overly praise me, because you now take me to the stands or how the people of Isa, that's the Christians, how they've elevated the rank of Isa to Maryam. Jesus, alayhi salam. Right? So the Prophet is trying to warn us from getting there. We know of the story of people of the people that came, I think, after Noah alayhi salam, if I'm not mistaken, where it started out as they're just good people. Let us praise them. It's like, so it takes step by step. So the devil takes something, it finds a loophole, takes that thing, and then he's a patient person. Yeah. He's very patient. He has all the time in the world, and so he can wait for 300 years just to achieve a goal. You know, so it starts with, and even if you look at the trajectory of how this birthday was celebrated before, it used to be just the songs of praises. Now it has gone to a party-like celebration, and we don't know what happens. And so we have seen the progression of the activity over the years, and the devil wants this to happen. You know, he's chill about it. He will just allow you, gives you a shubha and then allows you to keep on, because every generation, because the knowledge keeps on diminishing every time, and so every time someone is going to come and amplify it. It's like, you guys don't love the Prophet. You guys should be taken to the next level, you know. May Allah make it easy.
But what can you say about it? I don't know whether you know a statement of Ibn Taymiyyah that says he doesn't fault people who do the Mawlid of the Prophet because they do it for the sake of loving the Prophet.
No.
I don't know whether you've come across that statement where he should. And we're talking about Ibn Taymiyyah. This is Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, one of the four fathers in terms of scholarship and what have you.
No.
I don't know if it comes across and how we can understand it.
I think it's, as I said earlier, like something that starts as benign over time turns malicious. Maybe during his time, maybe someone will just write an abiyat or some lines of poetry to sort of show the value or the high ranking of the Prophet ﷺ. Like it probably started that. Maybe not an official birthday, because if you're looking to track birthdays did not start. It's a more recent activity than
I think around 300-400 years from the year.
Yeah, I think it started 600. If I think I recall, I think it was 600 years after. 600 years. That was when the Mawlid activity started. But I think that was also around the time of Ibn Taymiyyah, also, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was between, let's just give a range, between 400, 600. And it was the Shia Fatimiyya that started under the basis of, well, since the Christians have a day that they celebrate Jesus, why don't we imitate them? And even from there, you can see where the fault is. And also to wind back time to the question concerning what Ibn Taymiyyah perhaps might have meant by his statement is, the love itself, there's no harm in showing love for the Prophet. Perhaps Allah can give excuse for that, because we even know hadith where the Prophet shows that someone did kufr, disbelief outwardly, in a number of hadiths reported by Bukhari, and Allah forgave him for that. Say the example of the one who said, if he dies, that he told his offspring, if I die, take my dead body, burn it and throw it in the sea. that in itself is showing that Allah doesn't have the ability to bring him back to life, which is very wrong. And the hadith of the man who, when he lost his camel, he said, "Anta Rabbi, Anta Abdi, wa ana Rabbuk." He said that, "Oh Allah, you are my servant and I'm your Lord." This is also a statement of kufr. Because of Allah, look at what is in his heart. So in this kind of context, looking at what is in the heart, Allah can excuse it, but that doesn't become a rule of thumb to say, okay, because of that, I'm going to delve into that. So it's like he's giving them excuse on that basis, but the action itself is bid'ah, and the Prophet said, "Kullu bid'ah." Right? I don't know whether I can explain it on kullu bid'ah.
So the came the hadith. I think it came in two variations. من حدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد ومن فعل عملا ليس.
This is the hadith of Umar. I'm talking about the hadith of Ibn bin Sariya, where they said عليكم بسنتي وسنة.
Okay, عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين عدوا عليها بالنواجذ. So the Prophet ﷺ was saying we should fasten ourselves, keep ourselves firm on his path, and the path of his rightly guided caliphs. Thus the Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali. May Allah have mercy on them all. And then Prophet ﷺ said, whoever lives long, you're going to see فَسَيَرَ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا, that you're going to see a lot of
disputes
and yes. And so the Prophet ﷺ has given us the trick. عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين. If you want to show love for the Prophet ﷺ, no one should love like the Sahabahs. You cannot attempt to show love like the Sahabahs. This is where people that saw him throughout the journey, before his prophethood, during his prophethood, and after his prophethood. You cannot, no matter how you want to attempt it, you can just attempt, but you can, the literality of it is that you likely wouldn't.
Before you continue, there's this verse, لو كان خيرا ما سبقونا إليه. So scholars actually do qiyas and akas when talking about the companions. لو كان خيرا لسبقونا إليه. That if this action, whatever action it is, you're throwing up, able to fall in and do it. If there was goodness in it,
they have been the first to do it. Yes, absolutely. So we cannot. Our actions are not even worth a cup of the similitude of Prophet ﷺ. Do not insult my companions.
One of them might and I understand.
If you come with like worth of dhahab, you wouldn't mabalaga mud like the mudu.
Yes.
It's the little cup of plate or bowl of whatever they give out. So so if it was really something that the Sahabas thought to be of great value, because there's no value, the Sahabas were always looking for values, asking the Prophet ﷺ a lot of values. They complained that, so if it's Prophet ﷺ just go and celebrate my birthday, just go and do it. But the Prophet ﷺ ensured that anything that you're going to do, and I keep it as a rule of thumb, anything that you're going to do, ensure that you have a proof for it. And the proof, there's no better proof than having some of the earlier companions, the Sahabas, if not from the Sahabas, then who taught the next generation, which is the Sahabas, and that's the Tabi'in, who learned from the Sahabas, and then the ones that came after the Tabi'in, who learned from the Tabi'in. And so these are like the first source of information that you want to check, especially anything that has to do with something that you're looking towards getting closer to Allah with. Any amali that you're trying to get closer to Allah with as a form of
closeness.
As a form of closeness. You're doing I'm looking for the Arabic word.
Qurba.
No, not that. You're using the work so that you look. So for example, you're doing it as yes, you're looking at it as a source of clothes. You're doing it so that you get you get a high ranking.
Yes.
in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so if you don't have proof for it, or if you don't have, and you can ask anyone that give you proof that traces back to these people, I think it's something to at least question it at the very first step. As the whys, if you ask 5 whys, I think if you can ask why 5 times, you always get to the root of everything. It's like why and why and why and why and why. So it leads you to better outcome.
So perhaps that is why at the end of the hadith, the Prophet said, so at the end of the hadith, the Prophet said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتِ الْأُمُورِ
فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار.
So now this kullu means every, and this is they call it the adawat umum. They say kullu, jami' or sa'ir. It means that every, there's no exception to the rule. So you can come and say that's bid'atan hasana. That's why Imam Malik said, anyone who thinks that there is in the religion bid'atan hasana, because anna Rasulullah khadar risala. It is as if he's saying that the Prophet has been treacherous in conveying the message.
No.
اقرأوا إن شئتم, what is the verse he mentioned? اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم
عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا.
So I think we have 2 more questions at this juncture. The first one is, I know that a lot of scholars, there's no consensus on the day when the Prophet was born, because the Arab at that time weren't really keen on keeping dates.
No.
They don't really keep dates. It was later on, even after the Prophet died, that the Hijri calendar was created. So even the year when the Prophet was born is something that was debated on, but specifically the day itself. Some say it's the first week of Rabiul Awwal, some the second, some the third. So there's no consensus, even if you're trying to pin down the day. So you can have an ibadah that's not clear, a worship that doesn't have a takif, a kaif. Do you get it? I think this is the rule that deals with every act of worship, that there must be a how, a pamphlet, a manual for how you do that. So Allah won't leave us with guesswork. I think that is something to.
Yes, of course. It's all goes back to where you got the source of the action. Yes, when we already have, I guess aside the weekly Eids that we have on Friday, we have only Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, right? So those are these 3 kinds of celebrations that we have. The 4th is unknown in the deen, right?
That's a good way to summarize it. So the last question I think I have for you is, what can we do on that day? Is there a specific thing we can do on that day? Because they say, before you remove the tree of evil, at least put the tree of goodness in there. You tell people don't do that, and then you leave them like that. What can somebody do?
There's a lot of ibadah that one can do, like a lot of ibadah. There's adkar. You can do salawat on the Prophet ﷺ, or not dedicated to that day, but if it pleases you on that day, you feel like, of course, it shouldn't be taqayyud, but if on that day you feel like you want to do something, then because first of all, you're likely maybe not even doing it on the day that he was born. So just to put that out there, but
because with that tashbih, the imitation is something we shouldn't.
Yes. Yeah. So the one of the most worthy things that you can do is to do salawat on the Prophet ﷺ as a daily thing. Like if there's a lot of blessings, so whatever it is that you're trying to achieve from there, with just the salawat of the Prophet ﷺ, make it a daily habit. Whatever you're going to achieve there, or what you think you're going to achieve there, is achievable with more certainty. If it's the love of the Prophet ﷺ, this guarantees you more certainty to love the Prophet ﷺ, to have a better ranking in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be part of the Prophet ﷺ, to be part of people that you will be with the Prophet ﷺ. Then of course other worldly gains that you might get. I'm not trying to focus on that worldly part, but looking at the akhirah, you have your rank is increased. You know, you have you're part of the people of the Prophet ﷺ, what is more better than the Prophet ﷺ identifying as his people.
Yeah.
You know, the hadith that Prophet ﷺ said the Salawat is presented to him on Fridays. So don't you want to be part of those people? You're doing something that is uncertain over something that is certain. You don't want your name to be mentioned every day. That this guy is part of the people that always like this guy is top ranking.
Not once in a year.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, like you're like always in the calendar. You're like always this guy is attendance. Yeah, stick to attendance in the Prophet ﷺ. Like that's a great rank to have, I think. And so if you must, just make it a daily habit. Celebrate the Prophet ﷺ every day by doing salawat on him. But rather than selecting a day and doing things that might lead you farther away from the Prophet ﷺ. Celebrate him every day. Do salawat on him. That's celebrating him in a way. Of course.
I quite agree. Jazakallah khairan for the challenge. So whether you have anything final to say?
I don't have anything to say. May Allah guide us. May Allah rectify our affairs. May Allah make us people of the Prophet ﷺ by doing actions and activities that the Prophet ﷺ commanded us to do. And may He keep us firm on the deen, and may He, as the Prophet ﷺ used to say, Allahumma faqihna fi deen, or the Prophet ﷺ prayed for others. He prayed for Allahumma faqih fi deen, Abdullah bin Abbas. Allahumma faqih fi deen wa alim ta'wila. So may Allah make us understand the deen and make us understand the Quran also and Sunnah.
I mean, Jazakallah khairan. I think with this we can call it a video.
Inshallah. Alaikum.